So next up, we've got a bit of a weird fight. We've got Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold. And what's the thumbs down for? You don't want this fight?
Boo, Luke. Boo. Boo,
Boo.
Luke. You suck. Boo.
Yeah, I agree.
Boo.
And this
Nobody
this one
likes you.
this one really comes down to like who do you trust more, right? Because like as betters and guys that we pick fights, it can be hard to trust either one of these guys because you've got Paolo, weird drama Costa, and then you've got this part-time Ralph Lauren model with a really strong jawline but a really weak chin, and you have to consider all the things that the two of these guys bring to the table. You have Paolo, who didn't make weight his last time around. First, he had that whole weird wine thing with Izzy. Then he didn't make weight against Marvin Vittori and
Still
looked.
looked good against Marvin. He put up a
Oh,
that was a fucking banger of a fight.
oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I was going to get into that. I mean, the two of those guys, Marvin Vittori has an incredible chin because Paulo Costa was throwing a lot of crazy stuff at Marvin, like lots of 1-2 head kick combos, a lot of crazy roundhouse kicks to the body, and basically for me, I just don't think Luke Rockhold, despite the time away, because the last time he fought was in 2019 against Jan Blachowicz when Jan knocked him out, and right before that was Yoel Romero in 2018 when Yoel Romero knocked him out. It's like a misdirected fart could knock out Luke Rockhold at this point. And I think Paulo Costa, the power that he showed in that Vittori fight, we all know Vittori's got an incredible chin, but against a guy like Luke Rockhold, it's going to put Luke Rockhold to sleep. He's going to be knocked out on that octagon. And the only thing that I could see potentially going for him, like I was starting to get into and got away for a second, is maybe the time away. Maybe. But I think Luke Rockhold, ever since I think it was Vitor Belfort that he fought when Vitor hit him with that spin. I forget what spinning kick it was, but he knocked him flat out. And ever since then, Luke Rockhold got super chinny, and especially in his last couple of fights, just easy to knock out. With the power that Paulo throws, it's gonna do damage to Luke Rockhold. But it's a matter of who you trust more. If you think that Luke Rockhold may be the time away, it seems like he took things a little bit more serious, was training super hard at Ruka for like the past year almost. If you have faith in him, I think he's like a plus 200 dog in this one. I personally don't. I think Paulo Costa, he's been getting friendly with Patty Pimblin on social media, and maybe Patty's been sharing his secrets with how to cut weight. Paulo also just looks like he's been in incredible shape these past few months. He's been posting a lot on it on Twitter outside of the memes and the weird shit that he posts on there. He posts a lot of physique pictures. So I think Paulo Costa, granted, he has to come into this one in shape. I don't know if Luke Rockhold is going to give him, the leeway in terms of the weight that Marvin Vittori did. Maybe if he does, it's because this fight's been waiting to be made for so long. But and then come Thursday and Friday, as long as Paulo Costa looks healthy and the weight cut didn't go miserably for him, that's the biggest thing going against him. Both these guys are head cases. There's no denying that. But I think Paulo Costa might be entering this fun phase in his career where, like, he knows he's a head case. He's embracing it. He's not like shying away from it like he did before. And Luke Rockhold is just a nut that doesn't make sense half the time he speaks. But anyways, Paulo Costa, power. Luke Rockhold, weak chin. Going with Paulo Costa here at like minus 270, probably to win by knockout. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that when deciding between these two fighters, it's important to know that first of all, Luke Rockhold, his chin has not been the same, and it hasn't been the same for a long time. And the things that had gotten him to victories in the past had been his ability to stand and trade and his ability to throw leg kicks. His left leg, he had a long battle with a staph infection, multiple surgeries on that. I think I forget which fight it was, but he came in with a leg sleeve that immediately fell right off. Um, he got starched by Yoel Romero, and I believe it was the third round. And Paulo Costa was able to trade for 5 rounds with Yoel Romero, and it was a nuts fight. Both guys sitting down each other with everything. guy that was really able to take down Paulo Costa and didn't even really flatline him. It was more of like, the referee jumping in there to save Paulo Costa was Izzy Adesanya. And I don't think Luke Rockhold is going to come in there and be as dynamic as Izzy hit as hard as Izzy did in that fight. I think the time off. Now, here's the question mark: is we could come in and see an entirely new Luke Rockhold. He could know that, hey, my chin isn't there, so I can't stand to bang with these guys. My leg doesn't have the durability in it anymore, or the power in it to be able to kick guys the way I want to, and with the amount of precision and power it's going to take to put them away. But none of that isn't things that Paulo hasn't seen and kind of walked through a little bit with Izzy Adesanya. And it's not that he had such an amazing performance against Izzy, but he was able to withstand a lot of the strikes that Izzy was sniping him with. And yeah, he got put down, but maybe the wine did have a thing to it. Maybe he was a little bit drunk. Maybe the pressure did get to him. I think, Keith, what you were saying about him entering this fun phase, I think Paulo Costa is just having fun with it, and he's realizing now that he doesn't have to be a champion. He doesn't have to have all of this pressure on himself in order to go out there and make a lot of money with the UFC. I mean, his outside the UFC antics, Patty Pimlet is showing exactly how, like, hey, you can make a lot of money being a UFC fighter, but not necessarily being paid by the UFC. The UFC and what you do in the ring can launch everything else. And I think Paulo Costa training with him, getting his weight under control, the weight cut appears to be looking good. So I'm going to be encouraged by that. And I think, his Twitter, one of the funniest Twitters out there, not even just specific to MMA. If you know Paulo and you don't follow him on Twitter, make sure you do. He's always good for a laugh. I think he's just having fun with it, and that's the best headspace that you can be in as a fighter, especially going up against a guy like Luke Rockhold, who takes himself so serious. He is pretty cringy at times, cocky all the time. And I'm at this point, he walks around like he's still the champion of the world, which, surely at one point he was. But I mean, that was the whole thing with Michael Bisping. He went in there undervaluing Michael Bisping until Bisping put him away. So Luke Rockhold, I am not a fan of him at all. I don't like his personality. I don't like his cocky attitude. But Paulo Costa, I don't see any chink in the armor that Luke Rockhold will be able to exploit. And that's really what I'm looking for when I'm looking at these fights here. Hard to predict because we don't know what Luke Rockhold's going to come in. Maybe he's going to come in here and, show off his ground game. But we haven't seen Paulo Costa really get taken advantage of on the ground by anybody either. Not to mention that Paulo Costa was huge for the weight class, all muscle. Will probably be able to outmuscle Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold, when light heavyweight, middleweight, and just got knocked out all over the place. 3 years off. I don't know if that's enough time to repair your brain and repair your chin at that. Does he really, really want to do this? I mean, coming back after 3 years off, after a bunch of injuries, and have to start again. And how old is Luke Rockhold? He's coming in at 37 years old. Yeah, I'm just not seeing a lot of things that lean me in the corner of Luke Rockhold. I like it. I think it's a fun fight, and I think we get to see Luke get put away. That's the most fun thing about it for me, and I can't wait to see how Paulo, does it. I think the press conference is going to be fantastic, and the post-fight interview is going to be great. And I'm excited that we have this fight because everything seems good to me. And if Luke wins, that'll be nuts in and of itself. So all's good in the neighborhood for the co-main of UFC 278 for me.
Yeah, man. Definitely looking forward to that one. Paulo Costa, those legs are like baseball bats, and if one of those connects with Luke Rockhold's chin, it's going to be night. Quick question. I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know if it was just like, something maybe it was like a MMA F press page, but I saw that potentially Paulo Costa left Waleed to be represented by his girlfriend. Did you see that as well?
I didn't see that. It might have been F press, but
Yeah.
let's look this up.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, Waleed always adds like an extra element of excitement to his fighters. He's fun. He kind of like snatches the microphone. If you're not familiar with him and he's still representing Paulo Costa, then you'll be seeing him on Saturday. But if not, then it'll just be all Paulo on the microphone. But yeah, that's just something to look out for because Waleed is a character. But I wasn't entirely sure. I forgot to follow up on that.
No, I think you're correct. I'm seeing this on the Sun right now. UFC star Paulo Costa fires controversial manager Waleed Ismail and replaces him with stunning model girlfriend. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but you know what? That's not something that we haven't seen in the UFC before. I mean, I think Dominic Cruz was just talking about that, or maybe it was Sean O'Malley. Like a lot of people are leaving their managers because what's a manager for when you're in the UFC? The UFC negotiates all of your sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
So like
And
UFC gets the deal, they just go, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And you go, "Yeah." So like, there's a lot of reasons that like you don't necessarily need a manager in the UFC.
you know what's funny though is the last guy that I remember that had his girlfriend specifically represent him, not just like go do it himself. Like Dominic Cruz does his own deals, but last guy that his girlfriend did it was Mike Perry. His girlfriend
She
was,
was in his corner, and he won.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I believe she manages him now as well too, all throughout BKSC and all that
Hey,
crazy
he's
stuff.
got a big fight with Michael Venom Page, and I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of Mike Perry. So I don't know. Maybe they're onto something. And here's the thing: Paulo Costa's girlfriend. She's not, just his girlfriend. She's a superstar. She's a model. So it's not like she's not well versed in
Right?
publicity and getting your name out there. So like at the end of the day, it sounds hilarious. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have my girlfriend do it. But like, listen, who's better than women at getting seen?
Yeah, and making deals when it comes to you know, getting like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying, man. Making deals like that. Women are getting good at that stuff nowadays.